A few months ago, we have a small office in the United States, and a few months ago we decided to commission a study to find out what really was the big problem facing corporate USA. And this is fairly low-key stuff. It involved web searching, looking for articles and so on and so forth, but also interviewing some people that we knew. And you might be interested in the results that I'm going to show you here. And I'd like you to put on two hats. One is your HR hat, how am I going to solve this problem? And the second hat is how am I actually going to quantify that it really is solved? Here we go. I'll read a few of these out. What keeps HR leaders up at night? This is from Human Resources Executive Magazine's findings. Morale at many companies has plummeted since the recession began. Top talent is on the verge of jumping ship. Relentless downsizing has hurt, often significantly, the ability of organizations to achieve their goals and objectives. If you ask people who are actually in the mix rather than reading surveys from others, this gentleman here said productivity is the problem, with causes being employees don't have the knowledge, skills or expertise to do their increasingly expanding jobs, constant challenge of getting the most out of the people. Now, I wonder why that is. People are getting burned out. I wonder why that is. Another opinion, creating a vision and strategy and then articulating it down to the masses. Engaging and motivating employees. We've heard a lot of that over the past 2 days. Here's another. This one's funny. Making employees faster, better, smarter, considering workforces are demoralized. Developing them provides them a reason to stay, yeah. Their leaders need to inspire, connect, and guide. Actually, when you start digging into it, and we've dug, because we would like to provide the solution, of course, the leadership element is probably one of the keys there. And I'm sure you know the saying that people join a company but leave a boss. And it isn't the leaders really up at the top that I'm talking about. It's the ones that have a team of 3 or 4, 10 people beneath them. They have such direct influence on how happy an employee is in their day-to-day activity. Now, when we talk about engagement, by the way, all of that was totally qualitative. There were no numbers in there whatsoever. It was all kind of gut feel, this or that, or this is what people are saying, etc. Here we get a little bit more quantitative. 2010 study of job satisfaction in America indicates more than half of US workers, 55%, are now unhappy with their jobs. The highest that number has been since the annual survey began in 1987. What America appears to be frightened of is that there are all these disillusioned employees sitting there just waiting to jump ship as soon as the economy turns. A survey of North American employees found that only 29% are fully engaged, 52 moderately so, 19 actively disengaged. Actively disengaged is poison in the organization, with engaged employees staying with their employer for what they can give, like their work, and the disengaged ones staying for what they can get. Not good. Now this is where I start to pay attention, because I want to know what the financial impact of this is, so that as an HR specialist, I know how I can change it and therefore measure the improvement. This is Hay Group, by the way, which is UK now. Poor staff motivation in the UK is cutting productivity by close to half. Just a fifth of British workers consider themselves very effective in their job role. Employees believe that they would be as much as 45% more productive if they were doing a job they loved, and 28% more productive with better training. That's quite an insight. And a 45% increase in employee productivity could be worth up to 340 billion added output per year to the UK service sector alone, with the 28% increase worth some 212 billion. Now, that's fine, except for me, again, as the HR specialist, I'm really wanting to know what I can do and what the impact would be. And I've come across this, which is quite impressive. Construction equipment make, Caterpillar, has garnered impressive results from its employee engagement and commitment initiatives, including 8.8 million annual savings from decreased attrition, absenteeism, and overtime. Now, I don't know what it cost them in order to get that kind of savings, but someone was working it out. They knew that if they could decrease the attrition, absenteeism, and overtime, there would be real bang for the buck. They figured it out very carefully, then they went and did it. A 70% increase in output in less than 4 months. I don't know what output really means there, so I would dig a bit. A decrease in the break-even point by almost 50% in units per day. I would actually challenge people whether they really understood that. And a decrease in grievances by 80% at a unionized plant. That's impressive. A 2 million increase in profit, here's your bottom line, and a 34% increase in highly satisfied customers at a startup point. Now, wouldn't you like to be the HR person who put all of that in? That really puts a very, very different spin, not on what you do, because you know what you do, but how you actually measure it in really hard financial terms. By the way, if anybody's interested in the results of this survey, I've just cherry-picked a few out, and if you'd like it, then we can email it to you, but please contact one of our profitability team here as you leave, and then we'll zap it across to you. It's got some nice stuff in, because if you've got arguments, as I'm trying to get across to you, if they become financial arguments, people start to put their heads up and listen. So let's look at HR. I'm led to believe that that was the past, or should be, in the way in which HR constructs itself and does its business, and that should be the future. More strategic, less transactional, and a significant change is needed between the two. If this is true, this model, then, and if the business advisory role, which you see over there on the right-hand side, has any real meaning to it, it means that that person has to understand the numbers. I don't really see how you can get away from that. An HR professional should, simply as a matter of course, be able to answer questions such as these. Here are some basic lines of P&Ls and balance sheets. Can you answer how does each impact ROI? Do you actually know what ROI is? Because it's bandied around an awful lot. What are we already doing to improve ROI as HR professionals, I'm talking about, and what could we do better or differently to improve ROI? Now, if you're looking at this list in horror or are truly uncertain, don't for now run off and go and do some training. May I suggest that you test yourself and do it privately. Test your team. Find out where they actually are on this continuum of no knowledge at all, frightened of numbers, don't like to speak to them, I speak to the financial controller, he, she makes the decision, or I know exactly what they're talking about, and I can argue the toss eye to eye with them on any of this financial stuff, particularly as it affects my role. Where are you there? Do measure it. And can I offer you that we have a survey tool that takes about 10 minutes to do. You get zapped back the results straight to you. No one else sees them. You can see how good or absolutely awful you are. And keep it yourself. It's called the Business Savvy Survey. It's absolutely for free for you to test with yourselves or your team. If you want to have a go at it, please, by all means, just nail us at the end. It's really doing a needs analysis on yourself. And then the next thing, is that having done that, do yourselves and your team a well-deserved favor. Just upgrade your business and financial knowledge. Believe me, using modern methodologies now, it's not painful. It's actually quite fun, and when you come out of it at the end, you'll blow the socks off those whom you support in the business. You're more likely to fulfill your plans if you can give a rigorous financial argument to back them. And one last thought. If a simple marine biologist, a lover of fish, can master these skills, and believe me, I have, then I know you can. Thank you very much. One final thing before I open the floor to any questions is that we've done pretty well on time. It's just 5 past now. We have a lunch that we are hosting. The topic is profitability realization. Now, what this is how to realize the business benefit of training. And I know that there are a few places left, 1 or 2. I know also that if people sign beyond the spaces on the list, they will give us another table. And that's going to happen next. I think it's lunch next. So you're most welcome to come along and say hello. If I can't answer questions, by the way, I have a team here that probably can. So may I open the floor to you. Thank you.